Breaking news! Things are getting spicy at Miami Dolphins training camp, and what I'm about to share could change how you view this team heading into the season. The preseason game against the Detroit Lions wasn't just a victory, it was a message. Hidden among the snaps were major signs of shifting dynamics, unexpected highlights, and some shocking performances that could seriously impact who makes the final 53-man roster. And yes, some big names could be in the mix. I have all the details, film analysis, and some spine-chilling stats to share with you, so stay tuned. But before we dive in, enjoy this video only if you're a true Dolphins fan who loves navy blue and orange. And if you've been through the pain and the promise for over 20 years, I want to see your comment. Go, Dolphins! My heart loves navy blue and orange. Let's go, because what's happening behind the scenes could redefine this cast. The Miami Dolphins pulled off a 24-17 win over the Detroit Lions in preseason week 2. But don't let the score fool you. This game was packed with revelations that will directly impact the 53-man roster and potentially the entire outlook for the regular season. Let's start with what might be the most shocking part of all, the PFF grades. Josh P.B.Y. led all offensive players in performance, followed by Wish Jr. and then Dwayne Eskridge. But it's not just about the grades, it's about what the film actually showed. Larry Borom had arguably one of his best reps all preseason, showing some second-level quickness and clean engagement. Meanwhile, Jalen Wright, he came in dead last in offensive grading. That's got to raise red flags considering how much competition there is in the running back room. Now, Zach Wilson, yeah, we need to talk about him. He had moments of rhythm, like going 13 of 19 for 126 yards when kept clean, and completing all 5 of his short throws to both the middle and the right. But the minute the throws got deeper, total meltdown. 0 completions on all 4 of his deep attempts. And the worst part? A golden opportunity with Eskridge wide open for 6, completely botched by an underthrow. That's the kind of miss that gets you demoted, especially when guys like Quinn Ewers are breathing down your neck. Speaking of Ewers, he was decisive, accurate, and showed chemistry that just can't be ignored with Theo Wish Jr. 2 touchdowns, a passer rating of 123.7, and elite placement, especially that back shoulder dart to A.J. Henning between a corner and a linebacker. Beautiful. He looked poised, confident, and yes, like someone who deserves more reps with the 2s or even the 1s. Defensively, let's talk Kenneth Grant. This man is a powerhouse. He shifted from a 3-tech to a 5-tech and absolutely bulldozed Dan Skipper. It was pure, raw power, and that B-gap was sealed off with authority. His film keeps getting better every week. Then you've got Willie Gay sniffing out screens with an elite football IQ, forcing losses and ending drives. But here's the real kicker, Cam Smith. He might have just had his best 3-play stretch as a Dolphin. He stayed in phase, undercut a dig route, and broke up a pass with precision. Then, on a key 3rd and 1, he shut it down cold. That's the kind of execution that builds trust with coaches and solidifies roster spots. Then there's Hayden Rucci, one of the unsung heroes in the blocking game. Whether it's clearing lanes or sealing edges, the guy is throwing down pancakes like it's breakfast at Denny's. And it's not just flash. This is consistent, quality play. He and Ollie Gordon showed great synergy, especially on that 6-yard gain where Rucci laid a mean block to clear the way. That kind of physical football is exactly what the Dolphins need when games get tight. Now let's go back to the quarterback situation because this is where things are going to get heated. Zach Wilson has the experience, but Quinn Ewers is making a serious push, and the chemistry he's building with receivers like Wish Jr. and Henning, that's no coincidence. It's becoming clearer every game. Ewers' ability to throw from a flat-footed stance and still hit his man in stride says a lot about his arm talent and confidence. That Wish Jr. touchdown in the red zone? That wasn't just a routine play. It was a calculated, instinctive strike that makes you wonder, is it time to roll the dice with someone new? And then there's Jason Marshall. I'll be honest, I was skeptical. Coming out of Florida, he didn't really flash much outside of his final season. But right now, he's showing consistency, good film, and stepping up at a time when we desperately need help in the secondary. I'll admit, I might have been wrong. If he keeps this up, the Dolphins might have found a gem. So here's the thing, there's real tension building here. You've got a QB competition bubbling, a wide receiver room packed with talent and uncertainty, and a defense with some young players flashing serious upside. And through all of it, Chris Greer is still hanging on, making decisions that could either push this team to the next level or hold them back yet again. He should have been gone already. But here we are. So I've got to ask you, Dolphins fans, should Quinn Ewers be given a bigger role moving forward, maybe even take over Zach Wilson's spot on the depth chart? Alright, let's pick up right where we left off, because this quarterback situation is far from settled, and the implications could shift the entire structure of this Dolphins offense. If you've been paying close attention, it's clear Quinn Ewers is not just some camp arm or preseason filler. The chemistry with Theo Wish Jr., that's real. 2 touchdowns, both on sharp routes, with Ewers throwing confidently and in rhythm. One of those throws was especially telling. A bootleg to the left where Ewers hits Wish Jr. on a 5-yard slant, except Wish puts on the brakes mid-route, allowing the defender to over-pursue. Ewers reads it perfectly, flicks the wrist, and drops it in. That's not just timing. That's trust. And when a rookie or young quarterback is already in sync like that with his wideouts, you have to pay attention. Now, let's talk about the offensive line, because this is where things get dangerous for Miami. The unit only allowed 4 pressures in the game, but 2 of those came from Jonas Savani, who had an inconsistent outing, and Kean Smith, still a major liability. He gave up the only sack of the game, and it's the kind of breakdown that can cost games when it matters. It's hard to imagine how this offensive line is going to hold up against elite AFC pass rushes unless there's improvement or unless someone else steps up. This, again, points back to the front office. Greer has failed time and again to invest properly in consistent offensive line talent. It's not just frustrating, it's negligence at this point. Meanwhile, Daniel Brunskill didn't inspire much confidence either. That's now a handful of Dolphins linemen either underwhelming or being outright exposed. And as we know, if the offensive line can't keep your quarterback upright, it won't matter who's under center, whether it's Tua, Wilson, or Ewers. Now, defensively, let's dig deeper into what Cam Smith did. After the Wish Jr. touchdown, Detroit's next drive became the Cam Smith show. On one play, he sits in zone coverage, tracks the dig route, undercuts it, and forces the pass breakup. That's textbook. 2 plays later, it's 3rd and 1. Detroit runs a bootleg and Cam Smith recognizes it instantly, disengages from his initial assignment, and comes downhill to stop the quarterback just short of the first down marker. That's awareness, discipline, and aggression all in one. This kid is flashing starter-level potential, and it's not just about talent, it's the timing. The Dolphins need depth and reliability at corner now more than ever, and Cam Smith might just be earning that trust. Eugene Asante is another name that deserves recognition. His athleticism is undeniable. On one play, he sniffs out a toss play and comes downhill like a missile, stopping it for a 1-yard loss. He's raw, sure, but that kind of closing speed and willingness to hit can't be taught. If he sharpens his awareness and angles, he could become a sneaky contributor down the stretch. We're talking about special teams, situational packages. He has value. And speaking of young guys making noise, Jason Marshall deserves more praise. Back-to-back weeks of solid film, consistent technique, and smart positioning. Remember, he came in with big-time high school hype but didn't exactly dominate in college. Still, something's clicked. Maybe it's coaching, maybe it's just a system fit. But if this continues, the Dolphins have something very real in Marshall. And right now, with depth being tested in the secondary, it's exactly what we need. But here's the reality. These bright spots are all emerging under the cloud of inconsistent management. Chris Greer's missteps in free agency and the draft continue to haunt this team. The offensive line woes, the roster balancing issues, the lack of investment in certain areas, it all traces back to decisions at the top. And yeah, Greer should have been fired already. It's baffling that he's still holding the keys when this franchise is so close to contending, but continues to get held back by questionable roster construction. And one last thing that can't be ignored, this wide receiver room is a battlefield. Eskridge showed flashes. Wish Jr. and Ewers are becoming a problem for defenses. A.J. Henning's grab on that tight slant was clutch. The chemistry, the timing, the decision-making, all trending upward. This is going to be one of the toughest cuts come roster deadline. Someone with real potential is going to get left out, and that's the harsh reality of this deep position group. So what now? The Dolphins face the Jaguars next, and the pressure will only intensify. Preseason Game 3